years. And I excused myself, I think, at least 2 or 3 times on the same subject. And Doug commented about the study that was done on wetlands, and I remember that study being done, and they went over all of my ground and didn't find any wetlands. But I guess, and there are others that do, that I pulled up on the county website and found out some information, and I guess I have one question. Doug may be able to answer this. We have a number of lots of record in the Northfield, and I know that those were lots that were not broken off of major pieces at a certain year. And Doug, do you know the answer to that?
The year?
Well, it was that they were a lot of record if they were in existence prior to a certain year.
Well, there's a number of different answers for that. 65 is when zoning was enacted in the county. So the safe date is prior to 1965. However, Northfields was zoned 20 acres in 1972.
Okay. So according to the county record, there's 192 total parcels. There are 75 lots now that are less than 10 acres. Okay. There are 31 lots that are now between 10 and 11 acres. Okay. There are 42 lots that are 20 acres per larger. Okay. Now, I've lived in the valley for 25 years, and I've got lots of great neighbors, and some of them in Midway that say, we look down on the Northfield and hope you never break that ground up, because we sure enjoy looking at it. And I said, and having been on the planning commission, there were many that came before that, like the example was set by Paul, that wanted to break up the ground to give to their children, and I remember making the comment, we really shouldn't zone. I understand general plans, but we shouldn't zone the inheritance of people that own that ground and like to part it out to their children. And I think there's a thought that we're going to have an adulteration of people building homes out there. Out of 192 lots, there's 106 of them right now that probably don't have the frontage, can't get a septic tank, are wetlands, and so you're dealing with 42 lots that are 20 acres larger. And so I made the comment when I was on the planning commission in the private meeting, if we really want to preserve the Northfields, we ought to get a hold of the Audubon Society, or we ought to get somebody and buy it. And the comment was made to me, well, we've got to preserve the green areas and the open space. And I said, you know, we're surrounded by state parks, and we had, at that time, the River Parkway was going in, and you cannot believe in Adam and Eve, you don't think the valley's not going to grow. It's just going to grow. And I've run into the same situation. I had children that wanted to build homes, and my ground was such that I couldn't break it up. I couldn't do this because I just didn't qualify. So I think those things just need to be taken into consideration. That's what I want to say.
Thank you. Only question.
I'm sorry. So you're saying you would not like the zone change, or you would like the zone change?
I would like the zone change. Okay. Because like I say, there's already 106 lots that are less than 10 acres right now. And so we're talking about 42 pieces of property that will have some potential. There's 2 of us in the room now, 2 of those larger pieces. And Brother Gertz and myself, we've got about 188 acres, they have about 126. And I ran cattle, he ran cattle, that's what we did. We could have probably broken off pieces at different times. We didn't have an interest in doing that. But just talking about the integrity of ownership and I understand general plan, but there's no planning, and we can't protect our community. But we need to really think about protecting people's property rights. And there's lots of qualifications that have to meet. Street frontage, wetlands, septic tanks, you name it. But no, I'm in favor of the rezoning.
Thank you. Okay, next.
Robert MacDonald, MCDOA. I live in the Northfields, and I would like to speak a little bit. First, I'd like to thank the Planning Commission for the time that they spend. I know they don't get paid for it, and they take a lot of abuse for it. I appreciate their time and their efforts, and I know that we can't always all agree on everything, but hopefully we can agree to disagree on a few things. So, but in 1852, the first records of Heber Valley there was a group set out from Salt Lake to explore, and they found Heber Valley. There were a few reports on it. And in 1857, there was 3 men listed that were logging in Big Cottonwood Canyon, and they heard about the valley and came over to take a look, and they walked right down into the valley floor, and I can't imagine the thought of what they saw, you know, and the beauty of that big open space valley. Still today, we can come in from Jordanelle, and we see it a lot better now with these highways that come in on a little higher elevation. But we look out across that pastoral view of Heber Valley and Timpanogos in the background and Deer Creek, and I can't think of anything more beautiful. No matter what we do tonight, I don't think it's going to change a lot between when I die, but hopefully we leave a legacy for our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren, and they can see the beauty of this valley, which isn't a city, and I know 10 acres isn't still not a city, but it's a lot different than 20 acres. I just hope we consider all the issues and preserve that open space and have the vision to do that. Thank you.
Is there any questions for Mr. MacDonald? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next, come on up.
My name is Jenny Tuitt, and it's T-U-I-T-E. And I'm also an owner in Northfields. We have 20 acres, all made up of multiple property, or parcels, which we have cows and horses on, and it is very, very wet. And I have a home that was developed close to me, and it's made me really wonder if the Planning Commission has really thought about the water rights. Because as homes are being developed, we're flood irrigating, and everything comes down pathways, and those get messed with. When they build these homes, and they put in these roads, and you take it from A20 to A10, and those little ditches that are just this big, that bring down all this water, that waters those cows and horses, and makes this water so wet. I mean, I'm on probably one of the driest parcels out there. So I've been very grateful for Edmund Sweat, very grateful for Liz Hickey, very grateful for Ray, because without them I wouldn't have had water in some of the pieces of my parcel. But I've been lucky I have good neighbors, or Edmund's cows would not have been watered and fed like they've been fed the last few years. But that's something that I don't think that they've talked about, and my water shares are very valuable, just like my property is very valuable. And as we do this along this property, there are a lot of things to consider. It's just not how many homes we can build, because it's not just homes, but it's also the water and how you're going to get it there. Anyway, I'm all for the open space, and I think there's only 40, how many did we say, large parcels?
42.
That's not that many large parcels left. I mean, I just think that we're lucky that we have that many large parcels left in this country. There'll be people that want to buy them. There'll be people that will want to get their cows on them. And I'm one who believes we should be looking for more ways to keep more cows and more animals out on there and preserve the historic part of this valley. It is cows, farming, and that's why I fell in love with this valley. It's the silly cows, and that's why we bought in Northfields, was that beautiful open space. But hopefully we can keep on.
Any questions for Mrs. Stewart?
If you bring that up, it's right.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next, come on back, right in the back.
My name is Dennis Jensen. When I think about having the Northfields rezoned, it's very troubling to me to think about what would happen. As was mentioned by Robert MacDonald, as you come into this valley from the highway up by Jordanelle, and you look out over those Northfields, to me that's the crown jewel of Beaver Valley. And the beauty of that, when I think about having 100 and some homes out there compared to, what was it, 42 or whatever it is, it just really seems like it would be irresponsible, in my opinion, to rezone that, to have more homes in there. The other point that I make is more houses, you'd have more roads, sewer and water systems, and each one of these brings their own form of pollution. And when you think of taking a backhoe, for example, out in the Northfields to dig a trench for a water line or a sewer line, what's that going to run into? And you think of the public expense of building and maintaining roads, water and sewer systems out there. We got to consider the taxpayers who foot the bill for those kind of things. As I think about sewer systems, as has been mentioned, you could have put a pipeline in there and pump it, probably have to pump it to get it into the sewer system over by Midway. And there's so much of a hazard of pollution of the groundwater, which would cause immeasurable problems in health and water quality and you name it. Anyway, that's my concerns that I have on that. Thank you.
Mr. Jensen, you live in Wasatch County?
I do. People do.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions? All right.